Hello, Hudson Valley. This is Conor Walsh, host of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. This week on In Touch, we speak with Jennifer Perris from AtYourHome LLC, a concierge home healthcare company that provides at-home help for elderly as well as acute medical emergency and needs assistance. Jennifer and I talk about the difference between formal and informal caregiving and the landscape of the medical field in the Hudson Valley post-pandemic. We invite you to join us and listen to a previously recorded conversation between Jennifer and myself here on In Touch. Because of the awesome success of In Touch over the last year, we are expanding. We're launching a new spin-off series under the In Touch umbrella called Townsquare Spotlights. These spotlights branch out from the typical Hudson Valley programming and focus on amazing celebrities and leaders across the country who are making an impact in pop culture. You can check out the first 3 spotlights with actor-comedian David Koechner, Grammy-nominated music artist Five for Fighting, and X-Men 97 voice actor J.P. Carlick, wherever you enjoy In Touch. Hello, Hudson Valley. You're listening to another edition of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We got a great episode for you guys today, and one that's very near and dear to my heart. I've expressed many times on this program how I used to be a caregiver for my grandparents, and I'm still kind of going through that with my last grandmother, living grandmother on my mom's side. And it's a very interesting thing, and things have changed so much in the realm of caregiving and health, especially since the pandemic. You have early diagnosis with a lot of different conditions and disorders these days, but also at the same time, health is helping out, but people are being stretched thin. It's a big epidemic in our community, and it's happening all over the place. So that's why I'm really excited to speak with individuals like who we have today. With us, we have Jennifer Perris with AtYourHome LLC. They're a concierge home health care company that provides home help for elderly as well as people with like acute emergency needs. And it's something that, honestly, this area needs plenty of. So I'm so happy to speak with Jennifer today. Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to have you in here. I'm glad that we can talk about this. You've heard this program before. You know how this goes. We typically start off with just like a little overview. If you could give like a general idea of what AtYourHome LLC is, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty of things.
So I consider myself concierge because it is just me. I'm a company of one, so I'm able to provide that one-to-one care as if I was a family member or an extension of the family. When I'm working with a client, I'm only with that client for the time that I am, and then I move on to another client. And I really like to do things that the families would do and that would keep their quality of life, moving, but also at the same time, I offer that safety and also that somewhat medical experience to know if their mentality changes or if they're not feeling well. But I also provide the service to, for example, I had a mom a couple of months ago who got into an accident on the Hudson and broke her leg. She has 3 kids under 4. She's a new family and a new mom. And she called me and she's like, listen, I need help in the home. I need maybe some food prep. I need some can you get me to my local PT appointments? And subsequently then her son ended up having an allergic reaction to some spider bites. And the daycare that she sent her kids to, they wouldn't administer the antibiotics.
Oh my God.
So, and because she has a broken leg, she can't drive. So she hired me for her and for her son. So I would go to her in the morning, leave her, drive to Hopewell. She was in Wappingers, drive to Hopewell to give her son his antibiotics, and then drive back to her to assist her in the afternoon.
Bless you and bless them. Holy cow, that's a perfect storm of crap.
And it really is, and things like that happen. But my main clientele, of course, is our elderly population.
Yes.
Who, every 5 years, Alzheimer's and dementia diagnoses go up. And, sometimes I would say that I'm that gray area where they're just starting to show signs that maybe they leave the stove on or they forget to take their meds or, just like some of those memory issues, but they're not ready for a nursing home, So I come in for the families who cannot stop their lives immediately, let's say, to take care of their elderly parent at home. So I make meals, I do light housekeeping, I help fold laundry. I say I'm like the spouse who's not the spouse. But also, it's another set of eyes because plenty of times I can see that, oh, they're a little off today. Let me take their blood pressure. Let me take their oxygen level. Oh, they went to the bathroom like 16 times in an hour. That's not their normal routine. I can then say to the families, you may want to bring them to urgent care. Maybe they have a UTI, or they're coughing, or you notice that they're having difficulties holding a fork and maybe they need some PT. I'm another set of eyes to offer that. Yeah. I have a varied background of education, working with this population. So I'm able to pick up on some of these nuances. Even during the times that I'm with my clients, sometimes they go through major medical bouts. One of my clients has had cancer of the mouth and of the skin a couple of times and has gone through some major surgeries. And I love cooking. Nice. At one time, I was supposed to be a chef. And so I really do use what I've learned and the love of cooking to help them. So her diet had changed. She couldn't eat solid foods for like a month. But we still wanted to make sure she was getting her protein and her nutrients. So I was making her all these soft foods. And for a while, she wasn't even able to eat solid. So I was making her soups, And I can ebb and flow with with their life and what's going on. And, I have to say the longevity of me with my clients, I have a client I've been with more than a year since the start of my business. Yeah. And my other two clients I have been with for more than 6 months. Yeah. I've only been open since August of 2022, so not quite 2 years, but I have a waiting list. I'm in demand because so many people need help out there.
It's true. So many people really do need help. Being a caregiver that I have been, I've seen it from a number of different sides where it's the formalized care, whether it's been in the family, going to doctor's appointments, can we get in, who can we see, all this. This really is a crazy time for the health field here in the Hudson Valley, especially in Dutchess County where you primarily work out of. And that actually brings up something that I want to talk about. I was reading in your pamphlets, and I love that you specified this because this is something that's not necessarily defined every day, but formal versus informal caregiving. And I just wanted to talk about like how you fit the more formal version versus talking about some family members or other places out there. What does that mean for it to be formal versus informal?
Well, informal would be, let's say you have a fall, and then the families take an FMLA and use up all their vacation and all their time to take care of, which is sometimes how I come into the client's life that I do. You don't have, forever FMLA. You don't have forever vacation. Yeah. Eventually you're going to run out and you have to go back to work. So those would be your like informal times where you get like your friend Susie down the block or the neighbor next door to just check on mom. But when it becomes that the doctors may say, mom really needs someone with her at least 8 hours a day during the day for a supervision, for help in the home. That's when that formal comes in. Someone who has trained educational background in some respects where, they know how to assist a person, not just watching them. And I don't want to say babysitting them, but a lot of informals, they're just there in the home. Yeah. I am engaging my clients, engaging to keep their quality of life moving forward. ADLs and IDLs, independent living, and ADLs, getting dressed, helping in the bathroom. Your friend, your family member who's just there to, keep an eye on mom, they aren't doing that, you know? So,
and some can't. Some physically can't, yes, or just don't know how or don't have the training.
Right, exactly. And I will say, I have a limit to my training. I don't fully shower. I don't fully toilet. But my clients, because I'm in that gray area where they haven't quite hit that mark yet, but they're still compromised enough that they can't be alone, that's where I am. So maybe they can take a shower by themselves, but I have to stand at the door just to make sure if I need to assist them getting out, or handing them the towel, or handing them a washcloth. They can go to the bathroom. They do have those apparatus in their bathroom to help them, but maybe one day they need an arm under the elbow. I know of this. I know to do this, So that's where that kind of, definition comes in.
Absolutely. And besides, you're also just one person. It's like you can only do so much, but you have so much in your background, so much expertise when it comes to this. And I really want to talk about your story and what got you into this in just 1 second. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We're speaking with Jennifer Perris from AtYourHome LLC. AtYourHome is primarily based in Dutchess County, especially in the Fishkill area, helping people with long-term health issues, or whether it's acute medical issues, whether, let's say, you broke your leg, like the one mother that you said, or elderly family member, something along those lines. And it's definitely in-demand service, and as I said, an epidemic of just need in this area. But I want to talk a little bit about your background, because we've got into it just a little bit. I would love to learn more. A lot of this really stems back a while. You have a connection with 9/11 that really got you down this path. Would you be willing to share any of that with us?
Yeah, no. So I started at Dutchess, local Dutchess girl, alum.
Love it.
Commercial advertising arts. And then I finished up at SUNY Purchase with a BFA in photography. I minored in art history. So I'm like all ready to go. Let's go work in Manhattan, the mecca of art. I worked for one of the premier wedding photographers.
Wow.
Windows on the World was one of our clients. I worked on wedding albums, studio lighting, all sorts of back-end production, behind the scenes. And then 9/11 happened. And Ground Zero started at 14th and 5th where I worked.
Oh, my God.
I was there. It was a horrific day trying to get home. My best friend, who is one of the survivors of the staircase underneath, who I'm still best friends with, barely survived. Although I love the city, I'm a Bronx girl by heart. I grew up in the Bronx. I just couldn't work there anymore. I had a lot of PTSD. I lost a lot of colleagues from World Trade, people that I talked to on a daily basis. And I just one day decided, it was like I stayed until May.
Okay.
So, and then the May of the next year, and then I applied. I'm looking in New York Times, like, I can't do this anymore. Every time a plane flew by, I was just like ducking.
I'm sure.
And my father was a first responder, so he has some health issues from that. Yeah. And I didn't want to be there anymore. I love the city. Yeah. But I just couldn't be there anymore. So I applied to a classified in the New York Times that says, artistic background people willing to work with elderly will train.
Interesting.
And it was for one of the local nursing home, well, not local to us, in Westchester.
Okay, yeah.
And I started off as an aide, and I just really brought all my art and what I want to do. And we did bingo, and I just loved like the atmosphere and keeping them moving. And recreation therapy was like right up my alley. As you can tell, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really, I was like, oh, we can do parties, and we're going to do, I started clubs. And so I just made it through the ranks. I made you go from an aide to a leader. So then you're running your own programs, and then a leader to a director of the department. And then I kind of moved through some of our more bigger, well-known organizations, from Westchester County to Albany, where I worked in a memory care assisted living facility as the administrator / director. Then, that was 15 plus years, something like that, in the nursing home community, working with the Alzheimer's Association, every nursing home, raising money that I worked in. Tons of education. Got my certification in recreation therapy, tons of education, Alzheimer's, dementia. I still do tons of education to be up on the cusp of what's going on in the world when it comes to Alzheimer's, dementia, new ways to help them in the home, new ways to, really advocate and help and support the families.
Yeah.
It's not only the client going through it, the families have to change their whole lives. And so a lot of the times I spend talking with the families as much as I spend doing things with the clients. Then I worked 6 years for our local hospice at the foundation because I'd gotten burnt out from the nursing homes. It's very hard to work in a nursing home.
It is.
And then I worked at the foundation at the local Hudson Valley hospice. did, galas and awareness and, and I loved it. I really did. And then COVID hit and I just saw what was going on with our elderly community. They got hit really hard during COVID. The programs weren't there. They were alone a lot. And I was like, you know what? It's time to go, back into the trenches, as I put it. And I wanted that one-to-one client, patient, family dynamic again. So I opened my own business because I felt like I knew enough to open my own business, and I didn't want to be under anybody else's tutelage anymore, and I didn't want to be under anybody else's policies and guidelines. I feel like I take care of my clients the way I would take care of a family member. You can't always do that when you're dealing with CMS, MDS, insurance, the corporation telling you, you have to fill out all this paperwork before you can go and spend time with this because we need this first.
Yeah.
I don't have to do any of that. You get a full concentration of my attention.
And that's beautiful. Right now I'm going through something with my grandmother. She's in a rehab facility. And just the struggle it was to get her into this place because we had to play all the politics. We had to jump through hoops. Who would accept her for rehab? Who would want her for long-term care instead of rehab? What would the insurance take? And it was ridiculous. And fortunately, the place she's at now, I'm very happy with it. I like the care. But you can also tell it's like, they're stretched thin and they're burnt too. So, that's why we also make sure that we make a presence to be there as well, which doesn't always happen. As you said, a lot of these elderly folks that got hit hard during the pandemic were completely alone. My grandparents, they're lucky where, we're local enough. I was there for my paternal side. Mom was there for her side. But that's not always the case. And we're told that every single time we go into a facility with them. It's sad.
You have to advocate for your own, your family members. You have to advocate when you see something that your expectation isn't met, but they are stretched thin. The hospitals are stretched thin. And that's why I wanted to do what I do because, I wanted to help out as much as I could. And sometimes it's like they're not ready for the nursing home. Yeah. And you do want to keep them home as long as you can. So if a person like me comes in to bridge that gap, I am so very happy to do it. Unfortunately, what happens is money runs out, and then you have to apply for Medicaid. And then you apply for Medicaid, it takes months for that bureaucracy to go through. And although they do prorate the number and then, and you do all the jumping and hoops, a lot of the nursing homes have waiting lists because there's only so many nursing homes, but there's a lot more elderly people out there.
So many, X amount of rooms, but X times how much number for the rest of the people.
And that's why they want people to stay home more.
Yeah. And to be able to help that out, and as you said, it's more than just the people that you're, dealing with the clients, you're also dealing with the family too. It's like you're a caregiver for the family just as much because they're doing XYZ, they're trying to pay the bills or they're trying to figure out the doctor's visits. And it's you over here just simply helping them with a meal, that alone takes so much weight off their shoulders.
And I do one of the services I provide, actually a couple of the newer services I provide is I do help with senior placement because I still have colleagues and my thumb on the pulse of the nursing homes, change over if they got bought. I still have liaisons that I can speak to. I can help with senior placement. I can help you understand, the 5-star CMS rating to understand why some get a 1-star and some get a 5-star and what you want to look at. All that information is public knowledge, but there's so much to decipher through that, a person like me who's been through 15 plus, Department of Health surveys can tell you what those things mean so you can make a better, I'll go on tours with you. I always say, if you're looking into a nursing home, tour the nursing home.
Yes.
Tour the facility. Tell them to take you through the entire thing. Go during a meal so you can see what the food looks like. There's certain points that I can bring up being that I work there. And so I do offer that service to people who are looking for, just someone to do those tours with them. I take plenty of phone calls daily for hours, and they may never become clients of mine, but I feel it is my job and obligation to support the families as much as my clients.
Yeah.
And I do scheduling. One of my clients who was very, very ill, the daughters couldn't take any more time off for work. And she was getting in, a lot of times when they get out of nursing homes, they get inpatient services to the home, so PT, OT, nursing if they have a wound or something like that. Well, the families can't. Got to leave to go to my mom. She has an initial assessment this day. I got to go to her apartment. I become that person that schedules those people. So I would schedule them while I'm there. I take notes. I can give family history. And then afterwards, I would then debrief the family.
That's so important. Oh my God, how important that is.
Because it helps to alleviate the stress of having to get to all these appointments. In 1 week, if you have PT, OT, nursing, maybe a social worker, intake nurse, that's 5 people coming to your mother's or father's apartment or place of their residence. How do you make all those appointments and make your boss understand that you need more time off from work?
Right, exactly.
I
was lucky when I was taking care of my dad's parents. That was, heat of the pandemic. That was before I started working here. So I was doing a lot of freelance work on the side wherever I could. So mom and dad are both busy. I was the one who was free that could always show up to those things. But that's not the way the world is right now. Like things have opened up for better and for worse, in various ways. So those are very important facets to be able to work with these families with. And I'm so happy that you're able to help out with that because people like yourself are so important, so necessary, and so beautiful, honestly. The work that you do, just inside and out, honestly. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. Speaking with Jennifer Perris from AtYourHome LLC. Been talking about the levels of care that she offers, along with her story and the roots and the passion that comes with a job like this. And it is so, so important. And of course, I'm going to list a lot of the services that she offers. We've only been able to scratch the surface, but it's really been awesome. You can check that out in the description of this episode. But before we wrap up, I really want to talk about the events. You love being in the community. You love the grassroots. And actually, just recently, you'll be a part of the Dutchess Health Fair. Where exactly is it happening again?
So that is this Saturday, April 13th at Dutchess Community College in Falcon Hall, which is the gym. Tons and tons of resources and it's for countywide.
Yeah.
You do have to apply, and then they tell you if you can go. And this is my second year that I've been approved to be there.
That's beautiful.
I look forward to it. So many different therapies. And the big bus comes and they'll check your blood pressure and tons of swag,
nice.
Which people love swag. But I'm also part of the both the Wappingers Falls Professional Business Association and the Fishkill Business Association and the Health and Wellness Collective of Wappingers, as I'm a Wappingers girl.
Beautiful.
And so they all do their own local health events or community events that I participate in to meet with my community, to let them know that I'm out there. May 18th, they're having a health and wellness expo hosted by the Fishkill Rotary in Gearing Park, which is right off of 84 behind the Central Hudson plant. Festival of the Falls is happening in Wappingers and Mizzier, June 1st, big thing. And then, of course, near and dear to my heart, because I lost my grandfather to Alzheimer's, my aunt, my great aunt to Alzheimer's, and just recently lost my aunt to complications with dementia. Every year, I can't even tell you how many years I have walked in the Alzheimer's Walk. We raise money, and that's going to be at the Walkway on October 19th. We ask for people to walk with our team. I bring my kids. It's a whole day. Every event I do, I always set up an area to donate. My daughter makes pins that you can buy for $1 or $2, and all the proceeds then go to Alzheimer's Association. So
that's beautiful. It's also funny that the time that we are recording this, Meg Boyce with the Alzheimer's Association is just about to come in.
Oh my God, I know. Yes, I know of Meg. So
I love that. It was like we're talking about this, and then the next person I'm talking to is Meg. That's great.
She's a great lady.
I love Meg. I think it'll be her third time.
Oh, wow.
Or at least with me.
Yeah.
She might have been on prior to me being the host, but
yeah,
either
they'll
way,
have a table.
that's
I'll
great.
probably sometime. I don't think she does it, but I know they have a table usually near me at the fair on Saturday. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I'm glad that you're able to do this because, as you said before, it's like this grassroots movement. People know that you are in the community. You're able to have these intimate conversations with them before getting involved in that way. And that's just so cool. And it's just great to see and engage in the community that way. I love going out to those fairs and festivals, whether it's either just for myself to check it out, or whether it's for, Townsquare. I love engaging with the community like that, and I can see very much that you love that as well, and I think that's great. But for people who won't see you at these events because they're busy or they can't make this date or that date or whatever, where is the best place for people to find more information about you? Where should people follow you and learn more?
So I do have a Facebook page. It's just AtYourHome LLC. There's no punctuation. There's no capitals or anything. I'm just me. I'm a little company. It's just me, so I don't have a website. But anyone can call my cell phone. It's 914-474-1505. Leave me a message if I don't answer. Make sure you leave your, why you're calling and a number. And usually my response is, if I'm not with a client, usually later in the evening or the next time I have off during the week that I can really pay enough attention, just come see me, because then you're going to see so many other resources that you may not even have known were out there.
Yeah.
I'm not against my competitors. There are larger companies than mine. And sometimes when my schedule is full, I will refer to the other companies in our area. There's enough people that need us and enough work to go around that I don't need to keep it close to the breast. If I can't do it, I can't do it. I don't offer overnights, and a lot of the times people need overnights when they're, when they just can't get them into a nursing home yet.
Yeah.
But I have a young family, and overnights is not something I provide right now.
Yeah.
But they may, and so I always refer to my local, my competitors' local companies.
And that's great. I love when people are able to work together like that, because you're right. There's enough to go around. Everybody can help. It is, it takes a village. It really does take a village. And of course, all the links and information will be in the description of this episode, so you'll be able to find it real easy. You won't have to go hunt for it. We have it all together for you, so we're just making it easy. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here on In Touch. I wish you all the best with everything that you got going on, and enjoy all the upcoming events. That sounds great.
Thank you, Conor. It was great.
Pleasure. This has been this week's edition of In Touch, the award-winning public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. We want to give a big thank you to Jennifer Perris. For more information, visit AtYourHome LLC, Fishkill, New York on Facebook. Of course, all links and information can be found in the description of this episode. Because of the awesome success of In Touch over the last year, we're expanding. We're launching a new spin-off series under the In Touch umbrella called Townsquare Spotlights. These spotlights branch out from the typical Hudson Valley programming and focus on amazing celebrities and leaders across the country who are making an impact in pop culture. You can check out the first 3 spotlights with actor-comedian David Koechner, Grammy-nominated music artist Five for Fighting, and X-Men 97 voice actor J.P. Carlick, wherever you enjoy In Touch. Whether you've been listening for a while or you just joined us, thank you. You can find In Touch episodes new and old on your favorite streaming services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. That and listen on demand with your Townsquare radio station mobile app. Of course, you can still find all articles and audio under the In Touch tab on this radio station's app and website. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at InTouch_HV. If you like what we do here on In Touch and want to be on the show, let us know. Whether you have a topic you want to discuss or you want to be a guest, you can fill out the In Touch submission form, which can be found in the description of this episode. I've been your host, Conor Walsh. Until next time, stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time.